Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn, and thank you for stopping by my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss sex transmutation, what it is not, and how you can use it in your everyday life as well as in your magical workings. So today, I am drinking a bai. I don't know if you know what that is. B-A-I. This is strawberry lemon, and it's very, very, very nice. What's in it is caffeine from, I think it's the green coffee bean. Not totally 100% on that. It's got some antioxidants, some good stuff for you. So I figured that would be good for me. And the glass is from a friend of mine. Of course, it's backwards because Facebook doesn't know how to flip. Just keeps it in, or actually it keeps it flipped and doesn't take the mirror image out. YouTube does, but I can't. They won't let me stream anymore unless I use my laptop, and it's a big mess. So anyway, we'll do what we can, right? Okay, first off, I want to talk about the definition of sex transmutation because, oh my God, sex. Oh my God, sex. Can't talk about sex. So I'm not talking about sexual intercourse. That is something completely different. Orgasming, all of that is completely different from what I am talking about. So the definition, the meaning of the word transmute is, in simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. So that kind of sounds like alchemy, sounds like magic, right? The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Okay. Now, really what I'm talking about is a technique that you can do anywhere, at any time. So really, you don't have to take your clothes off, you don't have to touch anybody or anything. This is strictly the energy you feel when you are sexually aroused. So when people hear sex transmutation, they immediately think about the physical intercourse or masturbation. So I'm really trying to focus in on just the energy of sex, that sexual urge, that sexual drive, and how you can harness that for your benefit. If you're familiar with sigils, you'll know that you take what it is you desire to manifest and you shrink it down to a symbol, and then you activate the symbol. And there are many different ways of activating the symbol. One of them is to focus looking at your symbol while you are reaching a climax or an orgasm, and that takes that energy of that sexual energy and puts it into the symbol and activates it, gives it the energy to manifest whatever that symbol represents. Again, this is not what I'm talking about. This is something a little bit different. So I'm going to read the definition again just to be very, very clear. The meaning of the word transmute is, in simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. So just now this is coming from, let me back up a little bit. This is coming from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he talks about the emotion of sex. And there is no emotion that is sex. What I think he's talking about is the emotion that is generated as a result of a sexual urge or desire. Now, sexual urge by itself is very, very powerful, and it can be used creatively to create a life, to create ideas, to create a house, and you know, decorate your house. Your sexual desires can be harnessed to do all of that, but it also can be destructive, as you know, in the cases of rape and people who are narcissistic. They'll use sex to manipulate and control other people. So really what I'm talking about is a little bit beyond just the sexual urge. We're getting into the emotion or actually what I would like to call feeling. Because emotions are things like anger and sadness and hurt, shame. These are emotions that generate an energy. So I don't want to get confused about the word the emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Basically, your sexual desire can bring to you a state of mind that you can use to channel that energy into what you want to manifest. And what Napoleon Hill goes into is he talks about people who are into sales and are selling things, that if they get into this energy of the sexual desire, they use that energy to channel this, and it really needs to be, I'll get into this a little bit, but love needs to be added to it for obvious reasons, because you have energy, raw, very powerful, potent energy, such as sexual energy. You want it to be guided by love. You don't want to come across as salesy. So you channel this sexual urge combined with love and compassion. And this is an energy that will go out to the people you are talking to. Hopefully you believe in what it is that you are selling, and that you know that it is good for people, it's not harmful. That will be helpful as well, because if it's not, and you're trying to push it on people and trying to get them to want it, and it's not for their highest good, you're creating some conflict in energy, and it may not go well. But anyway, I'll just leave that there. And it's not just for people into sales. This is, if you're going in for a job interview, or just working with your coworkers, or you're trying to solve a problem with other people, you want to send that vibration of love accompanied by the sexual urge, and send it out to the group to help everybody come together in a like mind for what it is that you are all trying to accomplish. So Napoleon Hill says that sexual energy has the ability to do 3 different things: the perpetuation of mankind through having children, the maintenance of health. As a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. It makes people happy. It makes them feel good about themselves and about life, and when they can reach this energy of a sexual urge combined with love. And that, I think, is the key. Sexual urge by itself is kind of, it's there, it's powerful, it's potent, but it needs to go in one direction or another. And if you add love to it, it really puts it into a very positive direction, where it comes out, whatever you're manifesting will be for your highest good. Okay, the third one, the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. Again, it's about transforming or transmuting energy that is mediocrity, that is mediocre, into energy that is creative, that you can use to put into your project. So if you're stuck, I can't figure out what to do, like you're an artist and you have this blank slate or this blank canvas and you don't know where to start. So using this technique can help you become very creative in solving your problems and moving ahead and getting out of that stuckness. So sexual desire is one of the most potent of all desires. And this potency can be harnessed. In Tantric Buddhism, we learn about monks redirecting sexual energy. And there are Buddhist monks that I know of, and I believe Tibetan monks, and in the Tantric Buddhism and all that, those monks will sit with their sexual energy and redirect it up through their chakras, kind of like Kundalini, but it's different. It's a different energy. So force essence is part of creating life, as well as creating beauty around us. It's part of fueling the fire of passion and reaching out to success. Sexual pleasure is how we experience life and how we enjoy life. Sexual energy can be used to drive us to create. So again, back to the blank canvas. If you're stuck, you're not sure where to go, what to do, tune into that sexual energy and use it to break through, to push you forward, to break that stuckness. When you have that sexual desire or urge, you can redirect it into something else, something physical or emotional or mental. When I was in high school, I was not allowed to date. My foster parents would not allow me to date. So I took that sexual energy of puberty and put it all into my studies, and I actually started making straight A's. And I got on the honor roll and all of that stuff because I was taking all of that energy that was driving me to seek out a mate, and I put it into my studies. And in fact, there was in my junior year, my foster parents took me to California for about 3 months, and it interrupted my studies, and the school would not allow me to take my studies with me. And this was, you were learning on your own. It's called PACE, and you go at your own pace, basically. And I was flying through the lessons, and I was completing the lessons very quickly because I had all of this energy to put into studying. So if I had not been taken away from school for 3 months, I would have graduated a year ahead. I would have graduated as a junior instead of having to go another year. So this is very, very powerful energy and can really drive you to be successful and reaching your goals. Okay, I'm gonna talk about right now that this is not about abstaining from sex and using that sexual energy to fuel your situation, your project, or whatever you have at hand, whatever you're harnessing that energy to push into or manifest. You don't have to abstain. You don't have to go long periods without having sex. The sexual orgasm does release a lot of energy, and I have noticed for me that after an orgasm I feel wonderful and I feel in a place of peace, and but after a few hours or so I can feel the energy, the sexual energy, not as powerful, not as potent, but it does start building back up again. And you can harness it and build it up by just even faster by just bringing your attention to it. So sexual energy really is life force energy seeking a way to be expressed. It wants to express itself. So you can express it without being creepy, without being touchy-feely, like somebody we know who's very well known to the public. You don't overstep your bounds. Please be mindful of how you express this energy. It doesn't make it okay to touch people, but hugging people, touching them, in a loving, kind way, that's healthy and it's good. But in today's world right now, with all the things we're going through as a people, it's probably better to not touch people unless you know for sure it's okay. Edgar Cayce was advising a young gay man. Now, if you don't know who Edgar Cayce is, he's one of the most respected psychic, can I call it psychic medium? He was he was a medical medium, I guess. He channeled the collective consciousness. He went unconscious into a trance in order to allow this collective consciousness to come through him. And there would be somebody who's sick or had a problem or something like that, and he would go into trance and connect with this collective unconscious, and they would speak through his mouth. And they would say, okay, this person needs to, and the big thing with Edgar Cayce was castor oil. So this person needs to use a castor oil pack every day and need to take this supplement and that supplement and eat this fruit or that seed and abstain from these foods and whatnot, and that person would heal. He was probably the most accurate psychic. Is it medium? Medium is like with dead people. So I don't know if we would call him a medium, but he channeled a collective consciousness. So he was very, very, very accurate, and it's a very unusual high level of accuracy for a psychic. But he was advising a young gay man in the 1930s who was asking Casey for a solution because he's gay, and back in those days, you don't come out of the closet. You will find yourself in a really bad place. And so, religion tells us that being gay is a bad thing, and in some cultures, you are put to death because it just is not acceptable. So this young man was asking Casey for a solution. Casey advised that he should not be concerned at all with his sexual urges as long as it is dealt with in a consensual and responsible way, because sexuality is the force of life itself, and you should be at home and respect that in whatever form it takes. So it's more important to just respect your body, respect sexual urges, and be consensual and responsible when interacting sexually with another person. And it doesn't matter what gender that person is. Really, truly, it is just one spirit being interacting in a loving way with another spirit being. That's really all it is. And gender has nothing to do with it, really. We all have both male and female gender energy within us. Some women have more male energy than other women, and there are some men that have more feminine energy than male energy. So, and it's really just not a big deal. So there are two things to keep in mind. The first step is to become aware of the sexual desire and sexual urge, and recognize that it's not just for physical expression, that it doesn't have to be released. It can be channeled into other directions. And what I mean is, it doesn't have to be released through orgasm. You can harness it and channel it on whatever it is you're focusing. Remember that energy follows thoughts. So disciplining the mind so that you can hold one thought in your mind for as long as you can will be very beneficial to you. So how you do this is just put your mind on sexual urges, sexual desire, and recognize what that feels like. If you can't really figure out how to do that, just ask yourself, what is the sexual desire, sexual urge? What does that feel like? We're motivated by a need for income. We're motivated by needing our peers to approve of us and accept us. We also have this drive to propagate. We are also driven by a fear of poverty, a fear of lack, and fear of not having enough. Again, that's about safety and feeling secure. We are also driven by a fear of sickness and death. So it's important to harness this energy to help us focus on higher things, the things that bring us joy. Also to focus on pushing us towards higher understanding and higher consciousness. Marketers all use this information because they know it works to sell people stuff. When they really get in deep into that sexual urge and desire, they see an improvement in their sales. Napoleon makes the contention that when you are possessed by this energy, by this desire, this urge, you can direct it into a cherished object or outcome. For instance, dance routine, martial arts. Say you have a presentation or job interview, things of that sort. You can channel that energy. And again, you have to be able to focus and focus on that job interview. What would it look like as a positive outcome? How will it feel sitting there in front of the person you're interviewing with and having that energy and that the sexual energy transmuted into bringing about what it is that you desire, which is the job, and using that energy to make that relationship between you and the person interviewing you a very positive relationship. Basically what it does is it makes you very attractive. So very simply, if you were to take a moment to focus on somebody you have a sexual desire to be involved with, a romantic relationship with, you take that energy and you redirect it to what it is that you want to accomplish or manifest. So you spend an adequate amount of time, and only you can tell how much time that is until you reach a maximum capacity, so you know you can't hold any more energy that is charged with sexual urge for that other person, for that person. And then you redirect it and you start focusing your attention on what it is that you want to manifest. So the interview or the dance routine or the martial arts that you're trying to learn. And it will fuel you and your genius and your ability to think outside the box and come up with more creative ideas that'll propel you and move you forward towards success. Much of the energy that is a sexual urge has to do with wanting to please a mate. And really, you can have that sexual desire for people that are not your mate, that are not your spouse. You just have this romantic, and this is really hard for me to explain because, okay, Esther Hicks, first time I heard her speak, I fell in love with her. It was not that I wanted a romantic relationship. I didn't fantasize about having sex with her, but it was about this energy that was very different. It was more than just, it was more like when she was channeling, it happens when she's channeling this higher spiritual beings, collective consciousness is what they say they are. And there is something very attractive, which may be why so many people flock to her and to the message that she's giving about law of attraction. Now, I have some issues with what she teaches as far as law of attraction. I think a big, huge part of it is missing. And I think a lot of people feel bad about themselves because they can't keep a positive enough thought in their mind to manifest what they want, because obviously that has to be it, because they're not manifesting what they want. But that's another video, okay? And if you've seen my other videos, you really understand where I'm coming from. Sexual energy can be non-romantic, if that makes sense. It's really hard for me to describe it, but it's people that I feel drawn to and attracted to that I don't necessarily want to have a sexual relationship with, but I feel that energy, and it's very attractive to me. Love is an amplifier of sexual desire. And like I said, and opposite of that would be hate, would be an amplifier of this sexual desire, but in a toxic direction. And you could use that to force something to manifest into your life, but it may not be for your highest good. And so if you use love and you empower or activate, well, maybe not activate, but amplify the sexual energy, and then you will create what is for your highest good. Now, you may not see it as for your highest good when you first see what's coming into your life and what you're manifesting. You might think, not sure about this. But if you are using love and the sexual desire to manifest, you can know that it is being guided by love. And so you become an energetic match to what is for your highest good. Sex magic is a lot about holding the intention in your mind while you're having a sexual interaction with another person, It would be intercourse usually, or you could be by yourself, and so you bring yourself to orgasm while holding on in your mind, or looking at the symbol, like you put a sigil down on a piece of paper or a card or something, and you hold it up and you look at it while you are having an orgasm. So sexual urge, the sexual desire, is also non-local. And when I mentioned earlier that non-local means it's not within you. It is everywhere. It is that collective unconscious mind that we tap into, that Carl Jung, Dr. Jung, he called it the collective unconscious. You could call it the super unconscious and include the divine, or its way of connecting to the divine, the fifth dimension, if you will, your spirit guides and whatnot. That is where that information is located. The Akashic records are there. So this is non-local. It allows you, I feel it allows me to connect to a higher level. If that is my intention, I can use it to connect to that higher consciousness and use that energy to manifest. So step by step, real quick, and this is quick and dirty. The first is to bring your attention to your sexual urge, that energy, and you can do this by focusing on somebody you are sexually attracted to, and have it generate that sexual desire. Once you have focused on that energy and you built it up, then bring your attention to that which brings about the energy and the feeling of compassion. So love, a very beautiful interaction between two people, one person helping another person, somebody crying and another person consoling them. So we see this a lot in the animal kingdom, where two animals come together in friendship, and they're inseparable. Like there was a story that I read about an elephant and a dog were inseparable. They spent every day, all day long together. The dog got sick and was in the house, and the fenced off property was where the elephant was, and the elephant came up as close to the house as it possibly could, and would stay there all day long waiting for the dog to come out and play. Wow. And just kept waiting and waiting. And so they decided to take the sick dog out to the fence where the elephant was, so that they could spend time together. And I would imagine that helped the dog heal faster. But these two animals it's very unlikely that they would naturally in the wild. You don't see that. You don't see a deer and a wolf being best buds and hanging out together, because wolves eat deer. So when we see that, we see overwhelming compassion. This is just a beautiful friendship. So focus on whatever it is. It could be kitties, it could be puppies, it could be friendships between interesting animal species together, and showing love and compassion to each other. This builds up a lot of compassion within me, and using that as the way to connect the energy of sex, the sexual urge, and really that is just really, I don't know if we can even, I don't know that we have to call it sexual energy. It is that creative, want to propagate, want to generate a creative manifestation energy. It is creative energy, and you combine it with love, and that gives it the restriction of your highest good to be returned to you. So step 3, when you feel your entire being filled up as much as possible, then you take your mind and focus on what it is that you want to manifest. So follow these steps whenever you write your spells, whenever you cast your spells, whenever you do magical rituals, whenever you're in need of breaking through a dry spell, you're stuck, or you know that you're going to be interviewing for a job, or you're going to be doing a performance, a presentation, or you're in a project and you're stuck, you can't figure out how to keep moving forward. All of these things can be used this technique can be used for all of these different areas, different things. So, and it can be done at anywhere, at any time. You don't have to be in a meditative state at home saying Om with the incense and the smudge and the jewelry and the clothing and you know what I mean. All of that stuff is a lot of fun, but you don't have to have it. And it is helpful to get your mind into the right place. But you could be at work and your boss is chewing you out. You start going through this technique. You think about somebody you feel sexually attracted to or romantically attracted to. And then you fill yourself up with a compassion, whatever it is that fills you with compassion. It could be puppies, kitties, whatever, babies. And once you're full, then radiate that out to this person who is upset with you. And focus on love, sending them love and doing whatever is necessary to make whatever they're upset about, make it so that you can work things out in a loving way. So if that person is being hostile towards you, doing this technique could very possibly help them calm down and feel more open to you and more loving towards you and start changing their attitude just by channeling this energy towards them and focus on a good positive outcome between whatever that conversation you're having between the two of you. That energy gets sorted out so it is calm and creative and positive and compassionate and life affirming. Build each other up. No, this is something you can do without even speaking to that other person, and you can influence them in a positive way. Okay? So that's, I think that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments. I love you all, and do something today that makes you feel good and brings you joy. Until next time, blessed be.